Yeah, we're going to do this one without hands. Just trying to make sure that we can bring you guys magic. And we are off to the races. Chris on the top of your screen with the green-white Megamorph deck. Li Tian on the bottom of your screen. We do not have hand cams. I should be able to get those set up for next round. But here we are. So Chris just needs to be as aggressive as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that Lee's deck takes a lot of setup. You know, he can't really do anything until he gets to the point where he's got a stocked graveyard and he can start firing off collected companies or actually fill his graveyard for Rally the Ancestors. So he wants an aggressive hand. He wants to pressure life totals and and you see obviously here with a face up Den Protector, he understands the necessity of kind of curving out.
Yup.
I actually prefer watching Magic without the hand cams personally. I think it's more interesting to reason out their plays. Although the ideal way really to watch it is to first watch it without the hand cams, then go back later and watch with the hand cams would be kind of ideal because then you have the ability to kind of see what the players were thinking as they go along. So.
Sure.
So if you're watching at home, next time we do have the hand cams, consider maybe blocking them with something the first time, and then going back to watch the recaps on YouTube the next morning. Lee with the classic play of the format, the turn 2 best card in the format, which looks like it's going to die to a Dramoka's Command here.
This is also nice because you get to see how accurately you can read everybody's hand.
Well,
you certainly felt like you were reading Josh last round, for sure.
I don't know about that. But in Magic Online, when you see someone tap white and green and then they're taking a little bit of time, unless they're going to the bathroom, they're choosing modes. So
fair enough.
Yeah, that's like Magic Online. There's a specific kind of dread that's unique and ubiquitous on Magic Online when someone taps blue mana and their graveyard starts to light up. That I got to experience a couple times in that last match.
Yeah, no, we had lag for Josh's hand cam last round, so we had exactly the same issue. We're like, wonder what Josh drew. Graveyard lights up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good draw for him.
Yeah, and you see here, I mean, obviously, Lee is on the back foot as Zulaport Cutthroat is one of those synergistic cards that doesn't play very well by itself, and Chris with kind of one of those 2-drop into 3-drop interaction into obviously his Mythic on 4 is exactly kind of what he wants to be doing, and he's got Lee on the defensive right away. I think we might be having some. There we go.
All right.
So, Lee's ideal play here obviously would be to have access to Collected Company and hit something like Husk and Liliana or Grim Hero Specs and something else. His non-Collected Company plays here are pretty ugly, and there's one of them. Yeah, this is okay. So he's got the Sidisi's Faithful, so he actually has some game here, being able to trigger Liliana and interact favorably. I mean, as we talked about before, all Lee really wants to do is just get to that late game where he's got a stocked graveyard and white, to cast Rally the Ancestors, and there's not a lot that Chris can do if he gets to that board state. But being at 11 facing a Gideon, he's going to have to use the maximum amount of shenanigans in order to make that happen.
Shenanigans is the right word for it.
That's what I would call his deck. I know it's called Four Color Rally, but a more appropriate name might be Shenanigans.
I like it.
Yeah, so Lee just deciding there how to utilize his Liliana. Um, Obviously, doesn't want to return Sidisi's Faithful and give Chris a chance to rebuy Den Protector and get back Dramica's Command. So, and that's kind of that's the standard play when you flip your Liliana with this deck is to use your Sidisi's Faithful again, but Chris happens to have maybe the least attractive target for a Faithful trigger in Standard. Although he thought about it, Lee considered it because, again, Chris is not going to grind Lee into oblivion. It's going to be the other way around. Looks like they're just thinking on kind of what to discard here. Right, Chris discards Valorous Stance, one of his, less good cards in the matchup. Lee, interestingly, discards Windswept Heath and is still, 2 white mana short of ever being able to fire off a Rally of the Ancestors. So it may have been Lee that had the more difficult decision there, as he was loath to give up access to white mana. Mm.
This is round 2 so far. I'm still working on getting the round score and similar added back to the screen.
Chris going aggressive here. I think Chris correctly identifying his role in the game as the full beatdown.
Definitely.
The let's get this action over here before Shenanigans can take over the game and ticking his Gideon up. And Lee correctly identifying that he is the chump blocking already. I'm not going to go any lower. So, not sure if Gideon was attacking Liliana or Cutthroat. I guess it's actually probably more likely that it was attacking the Liliana, but.
Now, the fact that Lee doesn't have any white mana means we're not anywhere close to a rally.
Right, and that's why, again, it's difficult to tell exactly who is holding it up when you're not in the match, but I think it was probably Lee who was thinking as to kind of what to discard to that Liliana, and I think, right, because there are not a lot of ways that Lee wins without starting to fire rallies off.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like his deck is very much a Rally the Ancestors deck rather than just this kind of incremental value aristocrat style deck. We've seen 2 and 3 color versions of this archetype that don't feel like they need a combo finish. Lee pretty much always is combo finishing.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you saw Christian Calcano's straight blue-black version of the deck that was capable of some aggressive starts, and that deck was kind of obsoleted as it turned out. It didn't have good matchups against some of the decks that became very popular after the Pro Tour. This version has a much stronger late game and a much higher power level because it includes the Cards Collected Company and Rally the Ancestors.
Yeah. Lee's got, 2 cards in his hand?
Right, and 5 mana up, certainly possibly representing Collected Company, although, he did have the opportunity to cast it last turn. If he did have it, he may have felt as if getting Liliana online was more important, or he may just not have the Collected Company, and, I don't have a lot of experience playing Shenanigans, so it could be really either one. And honestly, it's felt like Lee has a pretty good handle of what he's doing with this archetype. Looks like modes here again on a Dromoka's command, which could go really badly if Lee has. I don't know if he's a Murderous Cup main deck. I can't recall. I believe he does though.
Yeah, not very many, but I think he has.
Yeah, one or two maybe, right? Yeah. So could see a major inflection point in the game here as if this does turn out to be a Dromoka's command. What the modes are that Chris chooses, and does it resolve, or does he get absolutely blown out by a 2-for-1?
All right, I'm gonna try tagging in Cedric here so that I can focus on making the stream run rather than trying to do commentary at the same time. So,
all right, my buddy Cedric.
Let's see if we can get you some help here.
Hello.
Hey, Cedric, turn your video camera on.
What am I doing wrong? Hold on.
I don't know. I see a blue image. The little video camera thing on the bottom edge of the screen usually fixes this problem.
Push the button below. There we go.
Ooh, the chat reminds that we have 3 Abzan charms, which can also interact with this Dromoka's.
Oh, nice.
Well, by growing Zulaport Cutthroat.
All right, there you are.
I'm just joining mid-game, aren't I?
Oh yeah, you're in. We're dealing with technical difficulties. Twitch is no longer communicating with Athena or anyone in Las Vegas apparently. So suddenly I'm in charge, and I'm trying to stitch the broadcast together on the fly.
All right.
I am going to stop casting. I'm going to turn my mic off, and I'm going to put you in charge.
Cool. I'm going to send this email really quick.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll chat more later. All right. I'm no longer.
Hello, Paul.
Hi, Cedric. You're coming in at a very exciting part of the game as Lee desperately needs to hit some serious action off this collected company in order to survive here.
I see.
And thus, I need him to get something off this collected company in order to survive. Are you aware of the way the playoff breakdown goes here?
Ooh, give me the breakdown for you as we're watching this collected company resolve. Give me some idea.
Lee is through. He's comfortably through to the playoffs. Okay. I need Lee to not only win, but to defeat Chris Pikula in 2 games.
2 games. Can't go to 3.
If it goes to 3, Chris takes the second slot.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
So I'm trying my best to be unbiased, but I'm the homer.
No one's asking you to do that. We want you to be as biased as possible now, because we know what you need to accomplish.
Right.
All right. So we're in game 1, I assume.
We're in game 1. Yep. Collected Company, I think, is still on the stack, or maybe he's in the process of resolving Collected Company, and I guess he's just choosing his creatures.
Okay.
2 good ones.
Got here. I got some horror specs.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 of those. Zombie token, Liliana flipped.
Blockers coming here. I assume probably everything is attacking Lee. We don't know for sure, but
I would be surprised if it's going towards Liliana. I'll say that.
You know, as we were talking about, Randy and I, before you arrived, you know, it's there are 2 parts of the game. There's the part before Lee casts Rally, in which he just looks like a really, really bad deck, and Chris gets to do all kinds of fun stuff. And then there's after that, in which Chris can't win. So
yeah, in which a Rally is resolved and he can't possibly win.
Yeah. So Chris, in my opinion, throughout this entire game has kind of taken chances and correctly identified his role as not just the beatdown, but the let's get this done beatdown. So.
All right. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right stuff here, because I feel... so I'm supposed to be watching this... This is awkward. I'm supposed to be watching this through Skype, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I'm watching through, yep. But there's a little...
There's an image in the way?
Correct, an image in the way.
I want to make sure that I'm not punting and I'm watching in the right spot. Okay, perfect. I come back, the image is gone, bang! There's a Nissa now. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and you're going to watch Chris's entire board disappear this turn. So.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is not good for Chris.
No.
Sidis's Familiar gonna exploit, draw a card, bounce Nissa most likely.
Now go to work on Gideon here.
Probably want to get that off the battlefield, can get it finished. This is a pretty adorable deck.
It is adorable is the way I was just calling it shenanigans. Just calling it the one word. Because 4-color Rally is so nondescript. I mean, it's just not a good name. But shenanigans kind of describes accurately what the deck is trying to pull off.
Absolutely.
and it's playing so many just delightfully hideous cards like Sidisi's Faithful and Zulaport Cutthroat. I mean, those cards are only good if you're trying to pull out some shenanigans.
Well, I mean, that's the best part of this kind of deck is that you play some true garbage to make your deck work.
Lee's third turn play against Green-White Beatdown was land, Zulaport Cutthroat, leave a mana open. That was what he did in a game of Magic in Standard.
Your turn.
Millions of people.
Yeah, it is your turn now. So Nissa's flipped. Yeah. Nissa is going to reveal a land. It's going to go up to 4 counters. There's an Nantuko Husk out there. That works obviously quite well with the horror specs and with the Liliana, so I feel like Lee's in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, this is exactly where Lee wants to be. Obviously, at 6, there's a little bit of danger here. Chris's best kind of path through, I think, at this point would be to grow the power of a Den Protector past kind of blocking range. Although, obviously, Nantuko Husk makes that difficult, and Lee has 4 rallies hidden somewhere in the deck that can pretty much end the game on the spot.
You gotta draw one eventually. Fledged Strand found a Prairie Stream, so now double white's on line for Rally. So this is interesting. I think it's time to go beat down so we get that Nissa off the battlefield, because the Megmorph deck doesn't even really have instant speed creatures, so
yeah,
it's basically free to get this Nissa off the board. I don't know if he wants to get Nissa off the board to just attack Chris.
I've noted that Lee has been pretty cautious in attacking with his deck. Correctly identifying that his opponents in this pod have really minimal ways of interacting with his primary game plan, and so the ways that the other people can kind of grind him are immaterial. I mean, they just have no impact. So, he attacks the Nissa. He's putting him away, but yeah, there was no.
No back.
No recourse for Chris there.
This is Cutthroat.
This is one game for the playoffs. It's going to be me or the Meddling Mage, depending on if Lee wins this next game. So this is, I think, when Randy devised pool play, this was the kind of thing that he was hoping would come up.
This is like Patriots Seahawks last play of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Are they going to throw or hand it off?
Leashy Butler against Chris, quote, Russell.
Chris Wilson, yeah. Well, I guess we'll get to see how these guys are going to sideboard here in just a second. So, Chris, I assume, he had 3 cards in hand, but it looked like he was basically out of gas at that point, so I think that's why we see the concession there. Maybe it was the returning of the Zulaport Cutthroat, though, just way too much to overcome.
Yeah, I think, like I said, there was a glimmer of hope at 5 or 6 life when you're talking about maybe I can put a Den Protector together, but when the Cutthroat comes back out, you've got 4 or 5 creatures out. It closes the door. So
yeah, that in combination with the Husk basically lights out. So, all right, so now they're getting ready, I believe, for the second game here. Yeah. And this will be a little bit interesting. I guess I'll take a look at the deck lists here, see if I can find them on the old computer here.
Yeah, see, again, this is why I think we felt like pregame that Lee had such an advantage, is that Chris's is really an all-in traditional old school green-white metamorph deck. Old school meaning like 6 weeks ago as opposed to 3 weeks ago. But
yeah.
None of the blue interaction that has been kind of in vogue lately with the Dispels and Disdainful Strokes post sideboard and through the fetch land. So Chris's deck is way more focused, and I made it better against an aggressive versus mid-range or control. But versus these combo decks, man, he'd love to have a couple counter magic.
Yeah, he is as straightforward as can be. His sideboard's 2 Valorous Dance, a Silk Wrap, 2 Arashan Clerics, 3 Surge of Righteousness, Quarantine Field, Evolutionary Leap, 2 Master of the Unseen. I get Tragic Arrogance might be okay. That's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe in some spots.
It may be the kind of card that he needs to try to pull something weird off with, so he brings in to try to catch Lee napping. But against the deck that abuses the graveyard as effectively as Lee's deck, species at best.
Yeah, I don't even know how much Lee needs to sideboard in this matchup. It seems like it's so favorable for him. I think that Lee is in a good spot, and as a result, I think you are in a good spot. So this is going to be interesting.
We'll see. Lee did not have a great draw in that first game and found a way. So.
Chris has got an Avatar of the Resolute to get started, and really, I think if you're Chris in this matchup, You just need to be as aggressive as possible. So.
Yeah, much stronger start for Chris than game one also, where he had Den Protector. I mean, the Avatar the Resolute is a hard-hitting creature against Lee's deck, which, the weakness is that it does take some time to set up. And he's got the 0-4, the Tide Drifter. What is an 0-4?
The Sidisi's Faithful. No exploit necessary. There's going to be some blocking done here on the Avatar the Resolute. No idea if Chris has left in Jamoka's command or not. It would be useful here in this situation.
It would be useful, but it is pretty poor in the matchup overall. I mean, it is, you're talking about against the guy who's got Murderous Cuts and Abzan Charms and a bunch of creatures that don't mind dying. So I would expect him to have at least shaved Dramoka's commands, if not taken them out altogether.
What do we got? We got a Nissa that's going to search up a forest.
We got 3 life so far game, but that's Sidisi's Faithful and counting.
Healing Salve numero uno.
Oh, yeah. I'll take an 0-4 with my Healing Salve, please. Thank you very much.
They don't print cards like that. That's way too good.
Nope.
Well, okay, so here's one of the things about Lee's deck. A lot of colors. Could be some mana issues. We'll see. Unclear at this point.
Yep.
Again, we don't get to look at their hands, but now we actually, get to speculate a little bit on what maybe they could be possibly thinking about. And he does have 2 basics, so any battle lands that he finds, they'll all enter the battlefield untapped, so that's a bonus.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've noticed playing throughout the entire time I've been in Super League, both Standard and this championship, is that a lot of people like to sequence their entire turns, whereas I'm just putting my lands out, mashing F6, casting the most expensive thing every single turn. And so, Lee is obviously taking his time to make sure he finds the right line here.
Which you want. That's ideal for you.
That's right. Take your time, Lee. Good play.
No rush. Just take your time. Play that Sunken Hollow. Make sure it's the right land to play. Nantuko Husk looks good.
Look at how bad these cards are, though. But they actually match up pretty well against Chris's draw here.
Hey, that's a 4/4 Nantuko Husk out there.
It's, threatening to be a 4/4 creature.
Yeah, just ready to take down that Avatar the Resolute if necessary, so.
It's really wonderful. I mean, and of course, a lot of Lee's turn 4s involve him casting Collected Company and doing some stupid things next turn, assuming nothing goes wrong here, so. He's got the perfect setup. His turn 4s could include things like Liliana Grim Harrowspecs, and then I couldn't even count what would happen after that.
Okay, so this is an ideal draw. Outside of maybe the 3-drop potentially being a Deathmatch Raptor, but maybe Chris needed the 4th land.
Yeah.
Going 2-drop, 3-drop Gideon with this deck is just what you want to do. Ideally, next turn, Chris is able to play a land and a Wingmate Rock and be able to raid that and all that jazz. So This is a good start. I mean, I'm sure Chris wishes that Lee was lower than 19, but other than that, I think this is a pretty good draw.
Right, we mentioned the weaknesses earlier of playing straight green-white Megamorph, of not having the interaction. The pluses are, a good deal of redundancy at different parts of the curve and great mana. And so, while it appears that Chris was lucky to have another excellent draw, that's what his deck should do a lot of the time, and that's the benefit of being disciplined and just staying with those 2 colors.
Well, we're on Lee's turn now. It will be methodical, is a word I like to use in the booth.
Right.
That's code word for slow, by the way. Here's a Liliana.
If you're on Team Rietzel here, that's not a great sign. It's okay in this spot, certainly, but we really wanted to see Collected Company to kind of completely turn the corner.
Not the end of the world, though. Going to sack the Faithful, be able to flip the Liliana into the Defiant Necromancer. Going to activate it, bring back Sidisi's Faithful. Perhaps we'll see an exploit here in just a moment. So I've seen worse turns.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be fine. That's for sure. And he may still have a 4th land here and be building up to rally. He may even have. Lee's a tricky player. He may even have Collected Company and just be saving it for, another spot. Whereas he sees kind of the coast is clear to get his. I'm trying to think of a synonym for shenanigans with Liliana. tomfoolery, his ballyhoo.
Ballyhoo is perfect.
Yeah.
He was going to try to take care of the Gideon with the Nantuko Husk, but now Nissa's jumped in the way. Nissa's not really going to do very much in this matchup outside of when it flips anyway. So protecting the Gideon there is Chris with the Nissa.
So they don't have a count on how many life that Sidisi's Faithful has gained so far. It must be in the double digits.
Yeah, we're close to 12 or 15 now at this point.
It starts to grow exponentially, which is just not true at all.
What's next for Chris? He's tapping mana on his main phase, so that means he doesn't have kind of the 1-2 punch of this deck. One of the best things about Green Megamorph, outside of the redundancy of the creatures and how durable the creatures are and all that stuff, is just the Gideon into Wingmate Rock. So we'll see what's next. We may have lost Paul, by the way. I might be flying solo here now. How did this happen? We have a Gideon activation. We're muted! I don't know what happened! The sound is gone! Alright, I don't know if Paul's here or not. Okay. No, I mean I can call it solo. It's not the end of the world. We have a koala and me versus the world. Oh, they can hear me. All right, I'm gonna do my best Vin Scully impersonation here now. Then Gideon is firing up. It's like I'm streaming. It's awesome. We'll see how Chris wants to attack here, if at all. It technically doesn't even have to attack. He could just want Gideon to have 5 counters to be able to protect it from Nantuko Husk-esque attacks. So this will be a little bit interesting where Chris wants to go with this turn. Because Avatar the Resolute has no good attacks. Gideon has a pretty good attack. Gideon can just get in here for 5, and then maybe there's a block with Sidisi's Faithful. Maybe there's not. Hard to say. So we'll see. Oh, is there going to be 2 of me? Oh my god, let there be 2 of me. All right, here's Tremolka's command. All right, this makes a little bit better. This makes a little better sense. Was unsure if Chris was going to actually leave this in or not, because it's actually pretty bad in the matchup. But if command away, put a counter on Avatar, take care of the Sidisi, get in for a healthy amount of damage, maybe kill Liliana, maybe not. Tough to say. We're going to have an activation of Windswept Heath here. All right. Let's take care of Liliana. Fair enough. You're already doing so much.
I'm back. I can do more things.
We'll save Paul for the next round. How about that?
Sure.
So this was actually a pretty good turn by Chris. Gideon got to come in for a bunch of damage, got to kill Liliana, got to kill Sidisi's Faithful. Lee sacrificed Windswept Heath to get a Prairie Stream, so he's getting close to getting double white mana. And now with the Prairie Stream, he does have double white mana, so that's good.
Rally is possible. There's the Harrispex. There's the Nantuko Husk. This is all good news for Team Rietzel.
Yeah, no, this is true. If you're keeping track, Paul needs Lee to win 2-0. If he wins 2-0, he moves on. If Chris wins a game, he doesn't have to win the match. He needs to win a game, correct?
Correct.
To move on. A singular game, Meddling Mage.
In a bad matchup.
It's a horrible matchup.
Yeah, it's Green-White Megamorph. The thing I heard is talking to Chris, a lot of these decks will splash blue mana now. I know Brad Nelson in particular has been singing the praises of the blue splash. You get Dispel, you get Disdainful Stroke. Would those be good here?
Those would be very good.
Those would be great here. That is how Megamorph competes with decks that are just trying to do shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways you can go with the Megamorph deck. You can just go normal and just be green-white like Chris is here. You can splash blue for that counter magic. It doesn't make you any better in the mirror, but it makes you better against a deck like 4-Color Rally. Yeah. So you get your trade-offs.
Or you can splash red.
Yeah, and if you do, you should play 26 land, which I didn't do. You should play 26 land.
But it helps you against the Atarka matchup, which is what you and I will be playing later.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm hoping it helps me. We'll find out. Here come the beatdowns.
Yeah,
Gideon,
yeah.
Nissa, Avatar,
Chris
some
doing what he
blocks.
can. So Harrispex dies. Nantuko Husk is a 4/4, so it can eat Liliana and live to tell.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, at least got what, 3 cards in his hand? If one of
Yeah,
those is Rally, it can't be good for Chris. I've been watching this game in detail, but I guess the graveyard is just what, faithful Liliana Harrispex?
There we go. Finally.
Oh.
In all the games I've played with Megamorph thus far in this tournament, and I haven't got to watch all the matches, I haven't actually got to raid a Wingmate Rock, and it's actually one of the best things you can do in the format. So for Chris, this is great. For Lee, it's not. His deck is pretty soft to flyers. At least he's got a cut to take care of the front half.
Yeah, but that's not really what Lee wants to have in his hand. He wants to have, like, win the game.
Well, the good thing here is that he can...
He bought a turn.
I mean, depending if he has Rally or not, I guess he had to delve away some stuff. Like, he got to cut the front half of Wingmate. He left the DC's faithful in the graveyard, so if that comes back, he can exploit, bounce the one half of Wingmate, maybe kill Gideon too, even though it is up to 6 now. So he's getting somewhere.
It's true.
He's getting somewhere.
Yeah, no Cutthroat means that he's not getting Chris's life total anywhere.
Now, no, I don't foresee a hyper combo finish here with Rally. I think it's just going to be more of a value rally, which is still fine.
Yeah, here's the Rally. Faithful is going to certainly take care of the other half of that Wingmate.
Actually, he's going to be... this is going to be a lot better than a value rally, because that Gideon's down now.
Yeah. No, the value is real. I mean, it is just a value rally, but when the value includes killing a 6 loyalty Gideon, it's some nice value.
Yeah, no, this is a really... He's going to get to draw some cards because of horror specs. He gets to flip his Liliana, maybe get back the Sidisi's Faithful again. This ends up being a fantastic turn. Yeah,
wow.
This is a really good turn. I would be unhappy if I were Chris, because my deck did maybe its best thing, which is raiding rock.
Yeah.
And I have a Gideon on 6, and then I'd be pretty pleased if I was Lee. But really, I mean, that just kind of displays how tough the matchup is for Chris, I think.
Fair.
I think this matchup is, without the blue splash, like you talked about, I think this matchup is like pretty close to a disaster.
It's pretty bad. Oh, Sidisi's going to... Liliana's going to bring back Sidisi and bounce Avatar, too?
Yeah, sure, why not? Sack itself. And draw a card because of the horror specs. This is not particularly close. This is getting ugly. Yep, clear your board.
Wow, that was a turn.
Yeah, that was a turn. I mean, it's not going to be a. He gets to play another Faithful, sure. It's not going to be a kill you turn with Nantuko Husk and kind of the Blood Artist finish that the Zulaput Cutthroat brings, but this is still a heck of a turn.
Yep.
Jeez. I'm curious if he's attacking Gideon or not. I imagine he is, but yeah, okay, he's going to sack some creatures, get the Planeswalker off the board, and dare Chris to rebuild. Ugh.
Remember last turn when Chris was raiding a Wingmate Rock?
I do, and it was a really good turn.
It was last turn!
And I was like, man, that's going to be pretty hard. Silk Wrap is fine.
I mean, it kills Nantuko Husk, is all it really does.
Yeah.
Lee will, of course, sacrifice it as a response, get it in the graveyard.
That's the place for it to be. I guess the chat is wondering what jersey I'm wearing. It's a Cavaliers LeBron James jersey. For
I'm
people.
shocked.
I imagine you are. The follow is probably Avatar here. Could be a 3-drop. There are a million of them in this deck. All right, go with them.
All right.
In situations like this, if I'm Lee, I always just kind of assume Den Protector because that's always worst case scenario.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if Chris morphed down a Deathmiss Raptor, and I don't even know if he's on Hidden Dragon Slayer. I guess take a look at the deck list really quick. I know that I'm playing 2 in my deck, but yeah, it looks like he's without them. So I would assume Den Protector. What's next here for Lee? All right.
Respects. Oh, the Zulaport Cutthroat makes an appearance.
All right, here we go. We're working towards a little something here. Liliana.
Liliana, bounce, trigger, drain you, and draw a card. That's fair.
Yeah, this is not bad.
So Liliana now has -1, bounce target creature, and draw a card.
Yes.
It's like she's combined all the best abilities from the Mind Sculptor.
Basically, if it were brainstorming and there are fetch lands in the format. And now here's an actual Jace. Here we go. Here we go. Chris, Pikula, I'm a big fan of yours. Meddling Mage. This is borderline hopeless.
Wow. Can't believe Rietzel's going to make the playoffs from 0-2.
Yeah. I might do the same.
You could. You need basically the same amount of help, right? You actually need slightly less help.
I need to win, and then Paul needs to win, right?
You need a little bit of help to beat Efro on tiebreakers. You need one of the matches to go to game 3.
Ooh, interesting.
Or like you need to 2-0 or you need him to 1-2. I think there's a game score thing where I don't think if they're both 2-1, it's bad for you.
Okay. Well, I mean, all I can do is control how I do against you. I just got to win both my games.
But beating me 2-0 means all you need is Paul to win. If I take a game off of you, you need Paul to 2-0 Eric.
Okay, sure. Super easy and straightforward.
No problem. Hey, like I said, it's actually slightly easier than Paul's situation.
That's true. But Paul's situation looked like it's going to come to fruition here.
Indeed.
Because we've got like some horrible silk wraps being cast. I guess that one actually did kill something, so that's nice. It took care of a Grim Horus
deck. Yeah, that's true. No Nentuko Husk around to sack it.
Another Liliana.
The first one's running out of loyalty.
Sure. Another Cutthroat. Well, if we're looking for positives here, which never mind.
Sacrifices herself to bring back Sidisi's Faithful.
I was trying to be positive for this, but
there's no card draw in that stack of triggers this time. The Harrispex is gone, right? Poor Den Protector gets bounced again.
Yep.
But this time there's 2 damage instead of a card draw.
Yeah. And a Liliana flipped. So each player discards a card. Nice.
Lee's out of cards. He is now out of cards in hand.
Yeah. He has 2 active Planeswalkers. He's going to get to do a little attacking here. Yes. I'm surprised. So, over the past handful of weeks, with the Grand Prix and the Opens and stuff, I'm surprised actually that we haven't seen more of this 4-color rally deck. This deck looks good.
Lee's crushing with it.
Yeah, this deck looks good. I don't know how its matchup is against Abzan, which is kind of the the deck that's doing well right now, the deck du jour, if you will, but this deck looks good.
Yeah, he's 2-0-4-0 and about to be 3-0-6-0.
Yeah. I mean, a lot would have to go wrong for him to lose this game. Like his internet connection failing. I think that's the out. Jeez.
I don't think Twitch is involved in his internet connection.
I don't think so either. Yeah. He's just got like this. He just has this really hard lock to beat of Liliana just returning Sidithi's Faithful every turn.
Yeah, you don't beat this deck at this point in the game. I mean, it's super soft to Atarka Red. I think you can run it over quickly. I mean, it's not hopeless against Atarka Red, but you can run it over. I don't think it's great against Esper either.
I guess that's a big question. Like when like we've been doing the kind of Super League finals for the past couple of weeks, so no one's been able to update their decks or anything like that because once they're submitted, they're locked in, and metagames evolve pretty quickly, especially standard. So it would be interesting to see how this deck would do against Esper tokens or the various builds of black, white, splash blue, and everything.
Yeah, I think what it does is it crushes green white. Both Lee and Gabby, for that matter, had metagame decks that are just designed to crush the sort of mid-range green decks, and they got a pretty good field. They read it right.
Oh yeah. No, they are in a fantastic spot. I would be very envious of them. Den Protector is going to unmegamorph and return something in response to this murderous cut. I'm not sure exactly what. Like the thing is like a lot of the spells that Chris can return here, like the Jamoka's command is actually just pretty bad. There's just not much good stuff to bring back here at all. So. Den Protector down.
Yeah.
Beatdown's coming.
It's going to work. I don't know how Chris stops. He's going to lose next turn, it sure looks like.
He might. Yeah, he just.
Oh,
was
he's dead
turn.
this turn. Right.
Yeah,
well, they got to
return
bring
that
back
Tuco
Nantuko Husk. Ball
Yep.
game.
That's all she wrote. Couple of
Wow.
triggers here, and that does it. So.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, giant Cedric head on the hand cam. Let me.
Arr.
Tell you what, we're gonna go to commercial.
All right.
I'm gonna be able to clean things up a little bit better for next round, and hopefully you can hang out and help us out a little more.
Yeah. We'll talk in the Skype chat. I'll let you get set up.
All right. Let me send us some ads, and we'll get set up for round 3.
All right.